Hello Year 4, it's Mrs Cross here with your second English lesson. I hope you enjoyed our lesson yesterday and you've got the chance to be a little bit creative today. So let's get started. Just cast your mind back to our lesson yesterday. What were the actions that you created for the story with a historical setting? Can you remember? I'm now going to start a 2-minute timer for you. I'd like you to see if you can retell that story and remember all the main points. Off you go. Okay, well done if you managed to tell the whole story. Let's just remind ourselves then of our writing target for this term. Our new writing target is to use expanded noun phrases. Before I go on to the next slide, just challenge yourself. Can you remember what an expanded noun phrase is? Pause the video and have a think. Hopefully you remembered an expanded noun phrase is where we add adjectives to a noun to add detail to our work. So your challenge then is to add an expanded noun phrase to my sentences. I'm going to show you the first example. Bubble swished her tail. Now those of you who know me know that Bubble is my cat. Bubble swished her tail. And this is what I have done. Bubble swished her long black tail. Long black tail is my expanded noun phrase. Tail is the noun. Long and black are both adjectives. It's your turn now. The pirate sailed in his boat. Now you don't need to write this down in your home learning book. If you've got some scrap paper, write it on some scrap paper. Otherwise, just hold it in your head. How could we add an expanded noun phrase to this sentence? I'd like you to pause the video and give it a go. What could we do? The scary, mean pirate sailed in his boat. In fact, let's do 2 expanded noun phrases. The scary, mean pirate is my first one. Pirate is a noun. Boat is another noun. So the scary, mean pirate sailed in his big blue boat. Okay, there we are. 2 expanded noun phrases in that sentence. Let's try the next one. The dog ran across the field. Dog is a noun and field is a noun. So you might like to add one expanded noun phrase, or you might like to add two to this sentence. See what you think. Pause the video and have a go. Right, my turn. The brown scruffy dog ran across the field. We might as well do both. The brown scruffy dog ran across the wet, muddy field. We've got the brown scruffy dog as our first expanded noun phrase, and we have got the wet, muddy field as our second. Right, let's move on to our main learning for today. So, today is Thursday, the 7th of January 2021, and we are learning to create a descriptive story map. You need to pause the video now, please, and write your date and your WALT and carefully underline it. If you don't have a ruler, just look for something else around you that has a nice long straight edge that you could use as a ruler. Maybe you could use a placemat or a cereal box, or what else could you use? A book. Okay, anything with a long straight edge. So pause the video and write your date and WALT, please. Right, let's move on. Escape to Pompeii, that's the story we read yesterday. You've just had to think about what happened, I hope. You've just tried to retell the story yourselves. Today we are going to do a story map based on our Escape from Pompeii story. Why are story maps useful? What do you think? Lots and lots of reasons they are useful. They help you to really make sure you know a story. They help you to understand the structure of a story. They help you to have the confidence to put stories into your own words, because if you can remember the main points, you don't have to focus on remembering. You can then start thinking about your adventurous vocabulary. And they help your brain to understand that stories work in certain ways, that when you go on to write your own stories, your brain is able to replicate those patterns. Now, Emmett has been having a go at a story map, and he thinks that you can only include pictures on story maps. Do you agree or disagree? How would you convince me? Let's have a look at the story map here. This one isn't Emmett's. This is one that he's seen. He doesn't agree with it. This story map is for where the wild things are. We've got some really nice pictures, and we've also got words: mischief, forest green, what else? I can't quite read. And it grew. Oh, forest grew and it grew. Okay, so there are added words on that map. There are also arrows. Do we want words and arrows on our map? I think we do. Okay. The arrows will help us to understand the order in which events happen, and the words will help to jog our memory, and we can put really, really nice high quality vocabulary on there so that when we retell the story, we tell it using really great words. But is order important? I think we would all agree that the order of a story is important. You can't put the ending first. Let's look at the order here for our Pompeii story. They had left just in time, and then in one terrible endless moment they heard mighty Mount Vesuvius roar. Then something happened. The stone steps creaked, the flap began to rattle, and the building quivered. From his window young Tranio listened to the humming from bars, taverns and shops. Have I put that in the right order? No, of course I haven't. That's a bit silly. Could you please pause your video and decide what order the section should go in? Right, let's have a look. They had left just in time. That's the end, isn't it? I'm going to move that down there. Right at the beginning, Tranio is looking out of his window, listening to the humming from the bars, taverns and shops. Then we get the creaking, the groaning and the rumbling. Then we get Mount Vesuvius erupting. There we are. That makes a lot more sense. I put the story into the correct order now. Right, we're going to start a story map together today, and then you're going to have a go at your own. When we do a story map, we do not have to do the most beautiful pictures. But if you don't feel very confident with your drawing, don't worry at all. Okay, it's not about the quality of the pictures. It's about remembering the main points, putting them in the right order, adding on some really nice vocabulary. I put a little reminder here. Those of you who are going to go deeper today, you're going to add some description of the characters or the setting. But that detail is what makes a really good story map. Before we can start drawing our story map, we need to remember the order of the events. So I've had a go. The first picture I want to draw is Tranio listening to humming from bars, taverns and shops. He sees Mount Vesuvius and thinks, could anyone feel safer? Could anything be more beautiful? So I'm going to draw that first. You're going to have to excuse my slightly dodgy drawing because it's really tricky to draw using this board pen. So let me see, Tranio, I'm going to draw a stick man. And he is listening, so I'm just going to give him one ear and I'm going to put some little sound waves coming out of his ear. It looks a bit silly, but it will help me remember that he is listening. And then he is thinking, I'm going to do a thought bubble about, could anywhere be any safer and could anything be more beautiful? Through my thought bubble. And then I'm going to write the word safer, question mark, could anywhere be any safer? And could anything be more beautiful? There we are. I think that's enough to jog my memory. So that's picture number one. Go back to my list now. Now we don't really want any more than 10 pictures. We don't want loads and loads of pictures. We want it to be really nice and usable. What could the next point be on my list if I've only got 10? Have a think. What could be under here? I said the next thing I'd like to draw is where he invites Livia to play jacks. So I'm going to do an arrow. Let's have a nice red arrow. The red arrow is going to point to my next picture. This time I'm going to do a speech bubble, but I'm going to cheat and add in a picture. You don't have to wait for me to draw it. Here we go. Put my speech bubble in. And then in my speech bubble, I'm going to put would you like to play jacks? Okay, and that will remind me about that section of the story now. Now I'm going to use my arrow again. And I'm going to draw an arrow to my next picture. So I'm going down now. Let's move my page down. What could my next picture be then? So Tranio has been thinking, then he has invited his friend to play. What happens next? Steps creak, flaps rattle, buildings quiver, and bread rolls fall. So the drama starts to happen. How am I going to draw this? I am going to draw a house that looks like it might be quivering, I think. There we are. Let's put my house like that. Like I said, it does not have to be beautiful drawings. Mine certainly aren't. And I'm going to put some little lines around my house that make it look like it's quivering. I'll draw a step here just to remind myself about the steps. And I will draw some little circles, which are my bread rolls falling. Okay, that picture is done. You'll see I didn't spend ages on it. It's not beautiful artwork. It's just there to jog my memory. I'm now going to draw my arrow for which direction my story map goes next and decide what I'd like to put next. What comes after that? Tranio and Liv run off. The sky darkens and there is thick cloud overhead. Right. They run off. Let me see. What can I draw? I'm going to try and draw 2 people running. Hey, don't laugh at my pictures. There we are. 1. In my sad face. And then 2. Angle her body down a bit more. There we are. She's running. That's Liv. The sky darkens, so I'm just going to draw a little bit of black around there. There we are, that's that picture done. What's my next picture going to be? Get my arrow ready. It's done page. Need to make my page a bit bigger. My next section is going to be, okay, Liv, we need to go back. So Liv says, we need to go back, and Tranio says, we can't, run to the harbour. So, have a think. If you were able to help me, what would you say to me that I needed to draw? I think I'm going to do 2 speech bubbles. There we are. In one of them, I'm going to write, go back. Yeah, fit in. There we are, go back. And then the next one's going to say, run to the harbour. Okay, and I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to draw the whole story map, but hopefully that gives you an idea. Now I want to think about my vocabulary. What vocabulary should I add to my story map? I'm going to choose to do that in a different colour. You don't have to do it in a different colour if you don't have different colours. It's absolutely fine if it's in the same colour. I'm just going to do it in a different colour to make it clearer for you to see. Oh, what does he think? He hears the rumbling, doesn't he, of the bars. He hears the, I think they say murmuring. If they don't, well, it's a good word anyway. The murmuring and the rumbling. So I'm adding rumbling and murmuring there. I don't think I'm going to add any vocabulary to my would you like to play Jack section. Oh, right. To this section here, I'm going to add quiver. The buildings quiver, don't they? I'm going to add my own ideas as well. So the bread rolls fall. I'm going to put the bread rolls fall like stones. Make it a bit more dramatic. The sky darkens. They're really scared, aren't they? I might add in some words to show how scared they are. That when I retell my story, I'm going to say that they were terrified. It doesn't have to be in exact words of the story. You can put your own words in. Right, I'm going to stop there. So what happened then? Punctuation. Ooh. If I was writing this story down, where do you think I might put my exclamation marks? I think I might put some exclamation marks in this section. This is a really dramatic section, so I'm going to add that in there to show how dramatic it is. I think I'm going to put some exclamation marks over here as well. Terrified. Okay. Now, those of you who are doing Go Deeper today, you're going to add some description of the characters and settings. So I'm going to do that in a totally different colour again. So Tranio. Ooh, let me think. Tranio and Liv. Liv is a baker's daughter, isn't she? So let's put over here. Liv is a baker's daughter. She has got, I can't remember what colour her hair is. I'm going to make it up. She has got brown curly hair. She is a sensible girl. Very responsible. Responsible. What else could we say about Liv, I wonder? Baker's daughter, brown curly hair, sensible girl, responsible. I would like to say that her eyes were as blue as the Italian Sea. And she always wore a crinkled brown cloak. Okay, that's my character description for Liv. Okay, so we don't need loads and loads of detail. Just have a think about how you might describe those characters if you were telling the story. So that's the detail I would add in. All right, let me show you what the other points are that I would have put in case you'd like to pause the video on this page to help you with your map. So I'd have said that they climbed up the narrow plank of the ship and hid under the rugs. We then got a picture to show chaos. So Liv starts to choke, dogs barking and screams. I would then draw a picture of Mount Vesuvius roaring, its top exploding, flames, clouds of ash, darkness. My next picture would be thunder and lightning, rivers of lava covering the town. And my final picture, because I don't want more than 10, would be Tranio and Livia holding each other. Okay, so those are the 10 pictures I would draw in my story map. So you need to make sure that you have written today's date, which is Thursday, the 7th of January, 2021, and today's WALT. Okay, before you start. Your steps to success are draw pictures of the main points. Okay, no more than 10. Add arrows to show the order. Add key vocabulary. And punctuation if you'd like to add some punctuation and punctuation. And then if you'd like to go deeper, you need to describe characters or setting. Okay, those are your steps to success for today. What you need to do now, year 4, is draw your story map, add all those things on, and then once you have finished, you can give yourself 5 minutes using your map and try and retell the story. If you find it really, really tricky, you might think, actually, I need to add in something extra to help me. Okay, I might have forgotten one of the main details. I need to go back and change my story map. So use your 5 minutes to test your story map and then change it if you need to. Right, I hope you enjoy your task today, and I look forward to seeing what you've been up to. Take care. Bye.